Hello, everyone. Welcome. Yeah, I think I know some of you guys. For example, Rahul, whom I know very well, and I also recognize some names who have been taking my heat transfer class, either in the past spring or summer. Okay. Very glad to see you guys here. So let's wait for 1 more minute before we start the orientation presentation. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the ME graduate student orientation. I'm Professor Lu, the director of the graduate studies. So basically, I'll be kind of babysitting you guys if you have any issues related to academics or other aspects of your graduate study at UofH. But today with us, we also have Miss Cecily Smith. Cecily, you want to say hi to everybody? Okay, so I'm sure you may have been in contact with her, and at some point, I'm very sure you will talk to her. She's basically the first point of contact in case you have a question. Okay, all right. So today the orientation will be consisted of two parts. So I will have two presentations. The first one, I will give you a brief overview of the graduate program here at UofH. Now, in the second presentation, I will talk about the specifics of the curriculum. I think most of you guys may have attended the webinars that we organized back in July and early August. Right? So you may find some of the information is repeated, but it's okay, right? In the meanwhile, if you have any questions during the presentation, you're welcome to ask questions in the chat box, or even turn on your speaker and ask me directly. I will try my best to answer your questions. If I do not know the answer, Miss Cecily will help you guys with that. Okay, all right. So I will start my first presentation. Let me put it up. Okay. Please bear with me for a few seconds. The computer is running. All right. Okay. So I hope everybody can see the presentation, right? Okay, great. All right. So it's not responding. Okay, great. Welcome to the department, and of course, welcome to Houston. For some of you are international students, you will see Houston is a great place to be. Okay? So the goal of this presentation is to provide you with some advice and practical information to help you to be successful in the program. Okay? Right. So overall, we are very proud of our the quality of our program. So if you check different rankings, in fact, the mechanical engineering department ranked very well among the public universities in the US. Okay, In the following slides, you will see we here have quite a few world-class faculty members, who are very renowned in various research areas. Now, that include 7 members of the National Academy of Engineering. Right? So for those you may know, the National Academy of Engineering is the highest honor society of engineers all over the country and also all over the world. Now, the faculty members at the Mechanical Engineering Department are doing first-class research. So our research has been funded by various federal government funding agencies, such as National Science Foundation, NASA, Army, Naval Research, Air Force, so on and so forth. Okay, so when you are getting more familiar with research, you get the chance to meet and talk to the professors and find more about their research. Okay, so here we have the state-of-the-art laboratories and computing facilities. If you need any of this, you will have access to them. Right. Also, we have many very distinguished alumni. For example, here I listed 3. Dr. Kelsey, who's our graduate back in 1970s or 1980s. He's a great sponsor to many programs in our department. Also we have Ivers, Dr. Dunbar, who's a Navy NASA astronaut, and she's working as a professor at Texas A&M right now. Now on the faculty, we have many of them who received prestigious honors and awards. So for example, Dr. Sava is a member of the National Academy of Inventors. Dr. Prosperity is a member of NAE, and Professor Gregory Irides is the recipient of the Morse Professorship, and also he received the highest teaching award in the university, that is a Kittinger Teaching Excellence Award. Dr. Sang, Dr. Sharma, Dr. Franchak, they all received many prestigious awards. Okay. Now also for any professor before they get the so-called tenure, there's the highest honor that can be bestowed by the National Science Foundation called the NSF Career Award. So in the department we have 8 faculty members who have received such an honor. So Dr. Yu, Dr. Sang, Dr. Gasami, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, Houston is in a very unique place. I remember people were saying that when the economy is okay in other places, we are hot red, red hot. When other places are bad, we are okay. Right? So here you can find a lot of employment opportunities. So as compared to other universities in Texas, such as UT Austin, A&M, Rice, and even other universities like Berkeley, Michigan, MIT, our graduate students keep returning to our campus to hire more students. So alumni will help you guys in your future career. Okay. So yeah, I do not want to say too much about this. Now, you may think I'm boasting, the quality of our program, but the data says something about it. So this is a piece of news that was published actually at the end of July. You can find this from the CNBC website. So this table gives you the top 50 U.S. colleges that pay off the most, meaning per dollar you pay for your tuition, how much you can earn back as your salary, etc. So now they divide the schools into the private category and the public category. Now, of course, Stanford, Harvard, Michigan, Chicago, Princeton are on the top of the list for private universities. Now, if you look at the column for public schools, you'll be surprised how well we are doing here, right? So did you find where we are? We are number 7, right? University of Houston. So we are ahead of Berkeley, UCLA, Georgia Tech. You see quite a few renowned names from this event. So that attests to the quality of our graduate program and the splendid future, the opportunities that will open up after you are done with your graduate study at U of H. Okay. All right. So in the next, I will talk about some important information regarding the courses you'll be taking. So there are some mandatory courses the master's student and the PhD student need to take. So what courses are required or mandatory? So for nobody, no matter if you are in the master's program or PhD, math. So actually we call it Math 1. Methods of Mathematics 1 is a required course. Okay. So the class will be offered with the same over the past few decades, but past experience says the failure rate among the master students has increased. Right? So this math class is important because it is the foundation of many advanced courses that you'll be taking in engineering. Right? So how can you improve your chances of success? So what we will be doing to help students. So number one, at the beginning of this class, usually it's on the first day of the class, the instructor of this class will administer a so-called a diagnostic test. You have to take it. So with this test, you can tell how prepared you are for this class. Now, based on the result, the instructor may advise the student to drop the class and take it in a future semester after a proper preparation. So if unfortunately you were advised to drop the class, please listen to the professor because according to past experience, those people who do not take the advice usually end up quite badly in this class, or even fail this class. Okay. Now, in order to prepare this class, we do have the lectures videotaped and be available online. You can watch this lecture series first, then take it in a future semester. Okay. Now, no matter what class you take, we treat the academic dishonesty very, very seriously. Okay. I think especially for those who have been doing your bachelor's at UFH, the different forms of academic dishonesty, right? So like plagiarism, cheating, unauthorized work, group work, fabrication, falsification, misrepresentation, so on and so forth. So in some cases, the cheating behaviors can go to a level that's very sad and that's very surprising. To give you an example, so in the past spring, when I was giving an online midterm exam, within 10 minutes, I found my exam problems were on the Czech website. So of course, after that, we called that and reported to the university, the college and the university. Okay, so some action is being taken to handle that. Okay. So yeah, as for the instructor and TA, it's not an option not to give any serious consideration for this. So giving a warning is not enough. So as a part of our duty, we have to report this through the official channels, and eventually the student who committed the cheating will be prosecuted. Right? So please take the academic dishonesty issue very, very seriously. Okay. So yeah, this I don't have to say much. So there are different forms of plagiarism. Sometimes you may not realize you are committing this problem, right? So make sure you understand what will be considered as plagiarism. Okay. Okay. Now grading. So like the title says, the grading is a very secret process. So in fact, according to the US Constitution, even the US president has no right to ask the instructor to change his or her grading, right? So at the end of the semester, if something happens, if you expect an A, but you end up with a B, do not even try to persuade the instructor to change your grade. based on any non-academic reason, right? So it's not, so we are not legally allowed to do this, no matter what the reason is. Okay? So I can give you 2 examples here. So what I mean by non-academic reason. So when people may say, hey, I have a very difficult financial burden. If I do not get a C+ or C- or even or B or better, I will fail this class. Now the consequence is I will lose my scholarship, or I will lose my sponsorship from a certain organization. So this is not a good excuse. Right? So we are very sympathetic, but our duty says we are not legally allowed to do this. Now another example, actually this happened to me. A student came to my office, speaking about the same reason with tears. So if you do not change my grade from C+ to B-, I will not get my degree. So my family will be super disappointed. Right? So this is not a legitimate reason to ask the faculty to change the grade. Okay. As a graduate student, you have the chance to get at most 4 C+ or lower grades. Right? So you have so this is a so-called 4C rule. So if you fail this rule, then you will not get your degree. Will not be permitted to enroll for the graduate study. So please do your best and try to get a grade of C+ or higher in each every class you are taking. Now we do have a minimum GPA requirement for graduation. So for the masters and PhD students, the GPA should be higher than 3.0 in order to graduate. Okay, I think I have one more slide to see about this. Okay, so how to calculate your GPA? So I think this you may be familiar with it, right? So see, if you have 30 credit hours and the cumulative GPA is 2.5, so how many more A's will the student need to bring the GPA up to 3.0? You can use this formula to know how many more A's you need, right? So that says if you get it 2.5, right? 2.5 is basically a somewhere between C+ and B-, right? So if you end up in that situation, you need to get many more A's in order to bring up the overall GPA, right? Okay. So funding. I think funding may be the most important issue for many master students because many of them, if not most of them, are supporting themselves. Now, unfortunately, like most universities in the US, in this department, we do not have the resource to fund master students. So only PhD students will receive research assistantship or teaching assistantship. Now, for RAs, these are given by the individual professor. So the department has no say in deciding who will receive the RA. Now, for TA, they are provided by the department. And because we only have so many number of TA positions, they will be given to selected PhD students. Right? Yeah. Now, in some cases, if a master student does very well in a certain class, he or she may be picked up by a faculty member and transferred to a funded PhD program. Right? So, if you intend to do a PhD, but you start with a master's, it is really your duty, your responsibility to make good progress in the classes you are taking and make good impressions on the professor. Right? Then you will stand a better chance to be picked by the professor and join the PhD program. Okay. Now, for international students, it's important to keep in mind that in order to seek working opportunities on campus, you need to maintain full-time enrollment, and you need to apply for CPT, the curriculum practical training. Yeah, you need to apply for this in order to be eligible. This is very strict. If you have questions, you should talk to the ISSSO, which is the International Student Scholars Office. Okay. All right, so most master students are initially admitted as a non-thesis student. Now, if you are interested in research, you have the option to be switched to the master's with the thesis option. But in order to do so, you have to contact the faculty member first and seek his or her permission. Once the permission is granted, you need to submit a graduate and professional student petition with the signature of the faculty member. Right? So then you can switch. So there are other tips that will be very helpful for your success in the program. So for instance, for each class you are taking, be punctual, because in some cases the faculty members, the instructors do not require attendance. But I can tell you, attending the class will do you good in many aspects. Right? Also, please submit all the required assignments on time. So for those who are, at the end of the semester, when it comes to the grading, especially for those who are, at the borderline, between A- and A, C- and B+, the grades you receive for the attendance and the assignments can be critical. So do not lose sight of the homework and attendance, although the percentage may seem very small in overall grading. So that's important. Also, to help you better understand the course material, please make use of the office hours. I believe all of our faculty members are very open and very eager to help you guys. But if you do not come to the office hours, there's no way for us to know what you do not understand and what kind of assistance you need. Right? So feel free to contact the instructors and make every effort to attend the office hours. Right? So that will be very helpful. Okay, so I will skip the next bullet. Okay, so the next few slides are specifically for PhD students. So in our department, I think every PhD student has a faculty advisor. So the PhD students will be working with advisors for a good part of at least 4 or 5 years. So it's very critical to maintain a good relationship with the advisor. This is not just because you want to be friendly. This is more because the student-advisor relationship is symbiotic, right? So you need to be understand more what your advisor wants from you in terms of the research. Now, the professor also wants to know how you are developing as a researcher and as a person. Right? So the information can only be exchanged, under a good relationship. Okay. Now, talking about that, the advisor has a sole right to continue or not to continue working with the student, including the funding. So nobody else, including the department chair, the dean, and even the university president, has the right to force a professor to work with or fund a student. Right? So that's part of the reason why the student, PhD student, wants to maintain a good relationship with the advisor. Okay. So if you have any questions or problems, especially with regard to your relationship with the advisor, please stay in touch with Cecily for advice. And if you have other junior or senior students in your group, it's a good idea to seek suggestions from those who are successful and knowledgeable about how not just the research but how to maintain a good relationship with the advisor. Right. Okay. Now another important thing for PhD students is a qualification exam. So we call it a QE. So usually we expect the student to take the QE by the 3rd semester. Okay. So if you enroll in this semester, then by latest by next 3 semester, right? So that will include this fall, next spring, then at the end of next fall, you should take the PhD qualifier exam. In order to be eligible for that, you need to maintain a GPA no lower than 3.4 for the first 4 to 7 courses you are taking. So we will make no exceptions. If you have doubts about your qualification about the PhD qualifying exam, please talk to Cecily or me. Right? So well ahead of the qualifier exam. Now, the research for a PhD project should be original and should eventually lead to a journal publication. Okay. Now, in order to defend your thesis, so we require at a minimum 1 first author journal paper. Okay. So this is not a sufficient condition, but it is a minimum. So to gauge your progress in your PhD program, if you haven't published 1 single paper in the first 2 years into your PhD program, you need to reflect on what is going wrong. Right? So that's a reason for concern. Okay. So in the department, we have a seminar class. If you look up the system, it shows Mackie 6111. This is required for all funded PhD students, but not required for master students. But I advise to all master students, if you can, please attend this lecture series. So during this lecture series, we'll invite professors from all over the country, and with the online format, we are now planning to even invite professors from Europe and other places in the world. Here you have the chance to listen to different topics from the leading experts in different areas. Right? So it will be very beneficial for a future career. Okay, now lastly, safety is our foremost concern. This is especially important for those who are doing lab work. So please follow our procedures and regulations. At the department level and at the university level, we take this very, very seriously. Okay. Also, regarding the campus safety, it's not just about your personal safety. We have a zero tolerance policy regarding even the carol comments that will be interpreted by other people to be threatening. So be careful with what you are saying. So it's basically here we follow the same policy as the airport security establishment. Right? So when you are talking to people, be friendly and be mindful of what you are talking about. Okay. So there are some pitfalls, common pitfalls for students in the graduate program. You need to keep track of your GPA. That includes both the cumulative GPA as well as the GPA calculated for all mechanical engineering courses. So ME GPA and cumulative GPA, you need to maintain a minimum of 3.0. So, well, it's very rare, but sometimes an international student may think of transferring for the not Master of Science, but Masters in Engineering. Right? So keep in mind that international students are not eligible for this degree program. Right. Also, I think as a student, you talk to your fellows a lot, right? So be very careful of advice from other senior students, because a piece of information may be only applicable to a very specific condition. Right? So you need to take any advice under the circumstance. Okay. So because if something goes wrong after you follow advice from a friend, nobody will be responsible for that, right? So be careful with this. For international students, if you are running into visa issues, please talk to the International Student and Scholars Office. They have the final say regarding the visa policy and the stuff related to that. Okay. Right. So for okay, this is not okay. in the department, we do offer classes called the Mackie 6364 design project. So these are basically the so-called independent studies. If you want to do this, you need to find a mechanical engineering faculty member to sponsor you for this project. If you want to do that, find a professor first, then make sure you have a clear outline of what you are going to investigate, and because at the end, a written document will be required. Okay. Okay, so I think that's about this. Payment plans. I think yesterday was the first due date for probably installment pay or something, right? So I think since you are here, you probably know better about the payment. If you have questions, I think Cecily will be in a better position to help you with that. Okay. Before I move on to the specifics about the curriculum, do you guys have any questions? I can try to answer, or Cecily can help us with that. Any questions with the overall information about the department?
Yes, Dr. Liu.
Go ahead.
Yes, also for the Math 1 class, and I just knew that we will have a brief testing for this one. So do you know what kind of contents covered for this initial testing?
Okay, so the question is regarding the diagnostic test. They'll be taken as the first day of the math class, right? So he's asking what kind of preparation you can do in order to kind of pass that diagnostic test, right? So I think probably, well, first of all, I don't know what will be covered. But second, I don't think there's a need to prepare for that test, right? Because the purpose here is to gauge if you have the enough background to be successful in that class, right? So that's why you do not want to be prepared to pass the test or to pass the diagnosis, right? Yeah. So I don't think there's a need to make a special arrangement to prepare for the test, for the diagnostic test.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes, this is Simone. I have a question. In the classroom, are the grades that are given number grades? Because I did a quick Google search to try to correlate what a 3.0 number grade looks like, and it says 83 through 86. Is that true? Is that accurate? And are those number grades used in the classroom?
Okay. So the question is about the grading scale, right? So the professors will be using. So can you guys still see my slide here? Okay. So
yes.
This is a very generic grading scale, right? So the individual professors may have their own grading scale. So for example, for me, well, sorry. Okay, there are two questions. Yeah, sorry. This one only tells you the grade points for the letter grade. Now the question is regarding how to correlate the numeric grading to the letter grade, right? There's no universal scheme for that. So if you Google the grading scale, there are different formulas. Right? So the individual faculty may have their own option. So for example, in some places, in order to receive an A, you need to score 93 or 93.5. Right? I think that's quite common in many high schools. But in my classes, I usually designate 90 as a threshold for an A. Right? So this may vary from one instructor to another. Right? If you want to make sure, the best way is to contact the instructor in the beginning of the class. Right? Then you will not be surprised.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
While we're on this class, this is Kristen. I have a question. You had said if you get a C in a class, you can't graduate. Could you clarify?
No. Okay. the question is regarding how the GPA you need to maintain in order to graduate, right? So depending on well, actually it doesn't matter if you are in a master's or a PhD program. You need to have a cumulative GPA no lower than 3.0 in order to graduate. Now, be careful. We also look at your major GPA. That is, for all the ME courses you are taking, the GPA should be no lower than 3.0. Right? So there are two different thresholds: cumulative GPA 3.0 and the major GPA also 3.0.
But cumulative, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Well, because later I will be talking about the courses, the curriculum. There you will see as a graduate student, you can take courses from not just the mechanical engineering department, but also other departments. So when I talk about the cumulative GPA, that will include all the courses that you are taking from your page.
Hi, Dr. Liu. I have a quick question about office hours. Will they be in person this year or all online?
I think, well, the best way to make sure of that is to contact the instructor. I think most, if not all of the courses, including the office hours, will be online.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. I have one question. I was wondering that if, so you said if you have 12 credit hours for the master's degree and you've earned a C in those classes, you would be dropped automatically from the program. But do the amount of like the grade point average or the minimum of the C's to be dropped out, does that change for if you're in a dual master's program?
Okay, Cecily, can you say a few words about that?
Okay, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Well, my question was that if you're in a dual master's program, does the like the 4 C's to be dropped out change like that?
No, so the 4C requirement is a university requirement that is for all graduate students in any program. So unfortunately, you are taking more courses. However, you still are only allotted the 4 low grades, or really 3, because once you reach the 4th low grade, you will not be eligible to take any, you won't be eligible for any graduate career at the University of Houston in any department.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions? If not, let me move on to the second presentation. So for those who have attended the webinars, I'm sure you have seen this before. Right? So for the benefit for those who have not, I will talk about them again. Okay. Yeah. In the previous presentation, I did not have the chance to introduce the advising team. So here we have Miss Cecily Smith. Some of you guys have met with her, and also Dr. Li Sang. So 3 of us will be taking care of you guys. Now, Dr. Sang is mainly in charge of the admissions process. Okay? He's also the director of the subsidy program. Later, I think we will be arranging a separate orientation for the subsidy student. Right? So if you have questions, you can probably save them and ask Dr. Sang at that point. Okay? Now, Miss Cecily will be the first point of contact if you have questions regarding your graduate study. Right? Okay. Okay. So let's start with master's without thesis. Now here, throughout the program, you need to take at least 10 courses, which amount to 30 credit hours. Now you can divide the hours into the different categories as outlined by this table. So the first row is the math class, right? 3 credit hours. This is mandatory for everybody. Then after that, you need to take 3 core courses. So each from 3 concentration areas. Okay, I will talk about the details in the next slide. Now, after that, you have to take 3 elective courses. Those must be from 6,000 level or above in the mechanical engineering department. We also have a requirement of the so-called breadth. That means you need to take 6,000 level and above from non-mechanical courses. So, for example, you can take courses from other departments in the College of Engineering, or the College of Natural Sciences, or from the Law Center, so on and so forth. We do have a list of the approved courses, which you can find from our graduate website. Okay, so what are the core courses? In the department, along the lines of teaching and research, we divide everything into 4 concentration areas. Those include the controls, materials, mechanics, and thermal fluids. So you can select 3 concentration areas. And for each area, you can pick 1 course to satisfy the core requirement. So for example, in the controls, one of the 2 courses, control system analysis and design, or the nonlinear control system will count as a core. Okay? So on and so forth. You can find 1 course of your interest from this table. Now, for master's student with a thesis option, the total requirement on the credit hours remain the same. But because you are doing research to finish your thesis, you can take 7 courses instead of 10. Okay? So here, if you look at the table, math is also mandatory. The 3 electives are the same, right? So it's your option to decide which courses you want to take. As far as these courses are at 6,000 level or above, you also need to take the breadth courses, right? So if you compare this with the previous one, you see the difference comes from the core requirement. Right? So if you are doing research, you are no longer required to take the core courses. Instead, you supplement that with your research. So you need to take at least 9 hours in research. Okay? So the first 3 must be enrolled as $63.99, and the remaining for $73.99. So basically, the first 3 will be for research, and the last 6 will be for dissertation. Okay? Yeah. Again, the graduation requirement: 3.0 for the cumulative GPA, as well as for the mechanical engineering courses. Okay, so 3.0, well, 2 3.0 requirements at different levels. Okay. Now, for PhD students, there are 2 different categories. For those who have finished a master's degree, we require a minimum of 51 hours, including the math class, 3 ME classes, and 2 breadth course. Also, you need to take 1 more from other departments from the College of Engineering or College of Natural Sciences. Okay. Now, for research, there are the 30 hours. So the first 18 will be for research, and the last 12 will be dissertation. Also, as a funded PhD student, you must enroll in the seminar class. Okay. There are also PhD students who are admitted without a master's degree. So for this case, we require a minimum of 66 hours. Right? So basically, we require more courses in the 4th category. So you need to take, I think, 3 more courses from the College of Engineering or College of Natural Sciences. Now, when it comes to the research and dissertation, you are also required to take more hours. Right? So 24 for research, 12 for dissertation. So the seminar is also mandated for you as a PhD student. So for the PhD qualification exam, depending on which area you are doing research, you need to finish all these required courses. So if because I'm doing research in thermal fluids, so as a PhD student, you need to finish these 3 courses. This convection heat transfer, math, and fluid mechanics before you can take the qualify exam. So if you can get A in any of the class, you will not be tested in the qualification exam. If you get A minus or lower, or if you get anything lower than A minus, you need to be tested again in the qualification exam. So okay, now I forgot to mention one thing. The QE will consist of 2 parts. The first one is for the courses. Like I said, if you receive a grade lower than A minus in a specific class, you will be tested again during the oral exam of QE. So after that, you will be presenting your PhD research. In that session, you have 15 minutes to go over the motivation of your research and the preliminary results you have collected for research. A PhD student will have altogether 2 opportunities, 2 chances to pass the QE. So if someone fails in the first time, he will be given 1 semester to make up. If he or she can pass the second time, everything is good. If not, the student has to drop out from the PhD program. Okay, right. So the courses that will be offered in this coming semester, right? So I have the courses listed according to the different areas of concentration. So in the top, you see the math class, right? So that's required or recommended for all students, right? But if you feel like you are not sufficiently prepared, you may consider taking this math class as a second semester. But for all PhD students, I encourage you to take this math class as soon as possible. Because last semester, we did have a case where the student postponed the math class to the 3rd semester. And unfortunately, he got a C minus. That caused a lot of issues regarding the eligibility for his qualification exam. So for all PhD students, if possible, I encourage you to take this class as soon as possible. Now, in the controls area, now we offer 3 courses. Unfortunately, none of the core courses in controls is offered. Right? So if you're interested in controls, you will have to wait until the next semester to take one of the core courses. Now in materials, these 3 courses will be offered, and 6361 is one of the core courses in materials. So that's why I marked it with a red color. So for mechanics, the core course, continuum mechanics, will be offered. For thermal fluids, fluid dynamics will be offered. So you can take this as your core course, or for PhD students, because you need to pass the qualification exam, so you need to take this class. Okay. So there are 3 other classes offered in the thermal fluids area, which you can take as one of the core courses. Right. So well, I don't think I have to go through the remaining slides that talk about how to enroll in the classes. Right? So I assume you are all familiar with the procedure, because Cecily told me that she has already emailed you guys a very detailed instruction of how to do this. Right? So if you have any problem, please let us know. Right? So with that, I'm open to any questions.
Dr. Liu, I have another question.
Yeah.
For the non-MECE courses, so there are 3 courses, and has to be selected from that list published on website. So if I wanted to select a course from a different college, let's say technology college, which is not on that list, can I do that, or do I need to do some application?
Not really. You need, so, that is the reason why we have the list of the approved courses, right? So that is a pool from which you can select the courses.
Yeah, but can I select a different course, different from that list?
No, essentially, right? I think we will make no exception to that.
None?
Some exceptions can be made, but it's going to be at Dr. Liu's discretion. Technology courses cannot be used. We don't use technology courses towards any engineering degrees. But if it's really going to depend on Dr. Liu and if he believes that that course is acceptable. However, like he said, we have the pre-approved list. So mostly those courses are what you should stick to. So if you're bringing in a course that's not on that list, then you have to have compelling information and reasoning to prove to Dr. Liu that it should be added to that list.
Yeah, the key reason is that we want to make sure the other courses are relevant to your education in mechanical engineering.
Okay, I see.
Cecily, what about the dual degree with architecture? Can those courses be fulfilled?
So
fulfill that requirement?
When it comes to the mechanical, Masters of Mechanical and Engineering degree plan, no. But if you are a part of the dual program, then it already has specified courses that you should be using towards both degrees anyway. So if you're,
Right.
by requirements of the mechanical engineering degree, you'll have to meet the requirements that are listed there. And to satisfy, options of the space architecture degree, you'll have to meet what's there. So if, as a part of the Masters of Science in Mechanical, you cannot use space architecture to satisfy anything to satisfy that degree. Does that make sense?
Yes, I got you. Yeah, I got you. So okay, so I have two more questions. The first is, will we receive a copy of this presentation?
You can email me. It should be recorded, so I should be able to send you a link. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The only reason why I was asking, Cecily, is because I'm following that degree plan for the dual, degree, but it looks a little different at first glance than when I'm looking at.
Aren't you in aerospace and space architecture?
Right. Yeah.
That's why it's different. So we didn't speak much about aerospace requirements in this orientation. We don't have a very large aerospace population. However, if you do have any questions specifically about the aerospace program, you can email myself or Dr. Gregoriadis. He's the program director for aerospace.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Cecily.
Hi, Dr. Don. It's Anish. Do master's students need to take the seminar class?
It's not required, but you will find it very beneficial. Yeah.
So if I take it, then will it count toward my degree? Like I will have to take.
No, it will not. It's not part of the degree plan.
Okay, and one more question, like if I take the project, if I get a project and get the project class, then I just have to take like 6 credits of the approved non-MSc courses?
That belongs to the elective, right? So that will belong to the ME elective.
Yes.
Okay, that will belong to the to the elective. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. To repeat the question, if you choose a design project, that will be counted as one of the electives, mechanical electives. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Liu. I have a question about those students completing the accelerated masters. I was told that I need to petition the 2 classes that I've already taken. I was just wondering what that process is like and maybe a timeline for it if there is one.
Cecily, can you say something?
Yes, you should email me in your first semester, and then we can go through that process of submitting the petitions.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
I had a question. If we start our MS program and we want to switch to a dual MS, do we have to like fill out a form or do that right now, or can we do that after 1 or 2 semesters if we decide we want to switch to a dual program?
Cecily?
So we tend to want you to apply to that before your third semester, or the completion of your third semester, or before you complete 18 hours. But you'll be the best judge of when you feel like you should try to add that second career to your account. You can submit the petition as early as now, and we'll look at your admissions materials to determine whether you're a good fit for the dual program or for the additional program that we'll add. However, sometimes if you don't have enough background, or if the program director of that particular program would like to see your performance in your first semesters, they may make those notes. But like I said, it's up to you. So you can start now, or you can start in a later semester. We just want you to do it before you complete 18 credit hours.
18. Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay,
I also
anyone?
have a question, I guess more for Cecily, because of the graduate seminar and the email that you sent said that, if you're taking 3 actual classes, that you can be exempt from the seminar as a PhD student. If one of those 3 classes is not in the mechanical engineering department, is that still true?
Yes, you just need to make sure you're taking classes that are approved by your faculty advisor, and that will work towards your degree. But if you're enrolled in 3 lecture courses and you're receiving the GTF, if you sign up for an additional hour of seminar, it'll put you over the 9 credit hours that we pay for. So we don't want to be, disadvantaged because of that. However, if you can still attend the seminar, like if it doesn't interfere with any of your other courses, then you should still log into the Zoom link, or when we get back on campus, attend physically and sign in on the paper. But you only need to enroll in that course when you enroll in research.
Okay, so who do I email you to get the link, since I'm not gonna enroll in it, because I am taking 3 courses? Okay, all right, thank you very much.
And then that goes for any master's students as well. Typically our seminar is just open, so you can just come stop by at 2:30, and we typically serve pizza, and we'll have drinks and things like that. So you can stop by even if you aren't enrolled in the class once we get back on campus. But for now, if you have any interest in any of the seminar speakers, you can just email me and I can send you the link. We also update the website with our seminar series each semester, so you can go and see if ever there's any, person talking or any research interest that, you may be wanting to, attend, and then you can just attend that seminar on that day, even if you're not necessarily enrolled in the class.
The seminars are held on Thursday afternoon from 2:30 to 4-ish. Yeah, every Thursday.
I had one more question. Are any of these classes going to switch back to in-person lectures at any time during the semester, or will they all stay online for the entire fall semester?
Okay. So the question is, will we switch back to in-person class? As far as I know, for all the online classes, we should expect the same online format will remain throughout the entire semester. Yeah. Because if you guys watch the news, Notre Dame started on August the 3rd. So today they announced switching back. So it's in person. Now they switch back to full online motion, because within the past 2 weeks, there were 147 infections on the campus. Right? So the consideration is mainly, for safety concern.
Dr. Liu, I have a question regarding the GPA. Does that include for undergraduate course as well?
I don't. Well, I don't think so. It's all the graduate courses because
So
now you're in the graduate program.
okay. Okay. So for the GPA, it will start 0 for master.
For both masters and PhD students.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a question to add to that. If you have a graduate degree from a different department already, and now you're starting this new, will those GPA count towards it, or is it separate because it's a different department?
You mean well, you mean from a different department at U of H or from different institution?
At U of H.
Well, firstly, what's the answer to that? So see, he has a master degree from another different department. When we calculate the cumulative GPA, how do we do that?
So the University of Houston doesn't differentiate GPAs in the graduate study. So if you, let's say you received your master's degree from here and then you came back and you got your PhD degree, then that GPA will continue being calculated regardless of the new program, because it's your graduate GPA.
Okay, well, in this case, I did the MBA program at Bauer, the business school. So would those business classes, the GPA count towards the engineering masters?
It doesn't. So like Dr. Liu explained earlier, we have a mechanical GPA and then you have your CGPA. Your cumulative GPA will be with all, all of the courses you've accumulated during your graduate studies. So that'll be present on your graduate GPA or graduate cumulative GPA. However, in order to graduate from our mechanical engineering program, we also look at your mechanical courses separately. And then that's a different GPA that won't be present on your transcript. However, it does determine whether you meet requirements to receive your degree ultimately.
Well, Cecily, I think the question is, he has already got the MBA.
Mm-hmm.
So all the courses he has already been used. Already used for the degree. So that will be.
It continues on. I'm not sure why
okay.
the University of Houston does that, but that's just the way they do their. I guess because there's no way for them to differentiate. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not even going to try to explain why they do it that way. But if you look onto your account, you'll see that your graduate GPA is still there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dr. Dong, I have one question, like about the core classes. Like on the thermofluid, I have taken like MEC 6357, which is the computational fluid dynamics too. So
okay, let me see the core courses. You are in the
I'm in a
master's program or PhD.
Yes, sir.
Master's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For the master, if you see the list here, right? CFD is not one of the core courses considered for thermofluids. You see here, right? So only convection and advanced fluid dynamics will be considered.
Okay, so the other one will be considered as my elective, right?
Yeah, yes, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, if you want to pick the core courses, you have to pick one, one for each area from this table.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, this information is also available online.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a GPA question as well. For the accelerated master students, those 2 classes that we already took, do those count towards your GPA?
I think so. No, it's a double dip.
Okay. Well, they'll count towards your, so U of H is so weird. So those will count towards your mechanical engineering GPA, but I don't think that they'll count towards your graduate career because you took them as an undergraduate student. So those courses affected your undergraduate GPA.
Okay.
But now that you're a graduate student, you'll start a graduate GPA. And then you'll see, let's say you decided to go get a PhD in rocket science. but you already finished your degree from mechanical, when you go to the rocket science department, they're going to pick up your GPA from there, if you're at University of Houston anyway, and continue that cumulative graduate GPA.
Okay. And then my next question is,
Laura,
go ahead.
Yes, the the credits will be taken, but the
Okay.
GPA will not be counted.
Okay, got it. And then my next question is convective heat transfer, that class, taught every spring? Because I didn't see it this fall.
Yes, that is offered every spring.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Cecily. Similar question to Laura. Since I've already, in regards to PhD, so when it comes to the qualifier, it's going to be the 3 courses that they'll determine, not the cumulative, right?
So it is similar. So we won't look at the 3 courses because in order to take your qualifying exam, you have to take at least 4 courses. Mm-hmm. You have to take between 4 and 7 courses. You can't take any more than 7, any less than 4. But we'll start your PhD GPA or your qualifying exam GPA based on the courses you've taken since entering the PhD program.
Okay. And on top of that, since I took a qualifier course, when I was doing my master's, obviously I would have to take it again to count for the PhD, right? It's not a double dip.
So
I took Gregoriadis' class for a master's. So I was thinking that I should take it again, and I should probably take it again if I want to test out of it for the qualifier, right?
So that's trickier too. I think that we would have to work with you on a case-by-case basis to figure out your best course of action.
Okay. Right.
I think the only reason you want to repeat that is to be able to test out. Right? Otherwise, if you are concerned with the material, the coverage of the material, I don't think you need to retake it.
Okay. Well, we'll go from
there. Anyway, when it comes to the qualifier, let's talk about it again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, Professor. This is Jesslyn here. My question is, I am I'm doing my master's in aerospace engineering and taking a concentration as materials. I was trying to enroll for one of the classes, but I couldn't do because of no availability. And that seems like one of the core class. So I just want to know if that class is offered like pretty much every semester, or is there any way that with whom I have to talk about it?
So the problem with the graduate courses is that not all of them we offered each every semester. Right? So if you miss it now, most likely you have to wait till next time for it to be offered.
Okay.
Cecily, you have anything else to add?
Yes, sometimes you can contact the professor and ask them directly if they don't mind allowing you to enter the course. Sometimes they're okay with it, sometimes they are not. Basically, if the professor is okay with an extra student joining even though the class is closed, then I can enroll you, but you would have to have permission of that professor.
Yeah, talking about the cap for each graduate class, especially for this semester, because most of the courses will be online. I think, the cap should not be an issue. So if you talk to the professor, he or she most likely will agree to have you in the class, right? Because, there's no restriction as for how many students can be actually accommodated. Right?
Cecily, I have another question on the university orientation yesterday. They mentioned that you have to finish your master's degree in a certain time period. Is that applicable for us department-wise too? Because a lot of things they said, check with your department to make sure.
Yes, so I guess as master's students, you're given up to 5 years to complete your degree. As PhD students, you're given up to 10 years. So anything beyond that, you would have to obviously restart that program. Also, courses are only valid for up to 5 years. So for those PhD students who may take a little longer to complete their degree, if your classes lapse over 5 years, then you can't use it towards that degree anymore.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Also for PhD students, if it takes more than 5 years after your qualification exam, you will have to retake the QE.
So we understand that you may need to take your time, but it's in your best interest to try to, to stay within a timely, amount of years.
Right. Got to juggle that full-time job. So, but got to get it done. We can get it done.
All right, guys. Do you have any other questions? This is the best time to ask. Now, of course, if you think about anything after this, you are welcome to email Cecily or me. So we will try our best to answer your questions as soon as possible.
Dr. Liu, could you go back to the slide where it said graduate hours, PhD, hours if you already have a master's?
Okay. It's slow. This one, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let me make it bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess if you guys do not have other questions, we will conclude this session.
I've got a quick question.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Liu, sorry. I'm a Master's of Engineering student in mechanical engineering here. Is there a list of approved courses that I can see? I haven't found anything on the website other than I'm required to take at least 21 hours from MECE 6000 level or above, and 3 of the approved courses from other disciplines.
So the Master's of Mechanical degree is a lot less, it's not as strict as the Master's of Science in Mechanical. So if you're feeling like it's a little broad, it's it's on purpose, because it's an executive degree that's meant to allow you to kind of explore, broad topics. So that I think that what you're seeing on there is, it allows you to build your own degree if you want.
Sure.
But you can also speak to Dr. Liu or other professors if you would like to, create a, concentration area of sorts.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So it depends on your interest.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
All right. Dr. Liu, I have a last question on this Master of Science without thesis curriculum. So again, still for that non-MEC courses, there are 9 credit hours. If I only choose 6 credit hours for the non-MEC courses, can I do 12 hours of electives? Is this still count to my curriculum?
I think you need to file a petition.
Okay.
So there's a reason for the breadth, right? So it's the purpose is to kind of force you guys to broaden your horizon, right? Yeah, you can file a petition for that.
All right, gotcha. Thank you.
I had a quick question.
Go ahead.
Is the applied maths course that is obviously required, is it offered in the spring or is it only offered in the fall?
This one is offered every semester. Is that right, Cecily?
Perfect.
The math course?
The math, yes.
Yes, it should be offered Math 1 is offered every semester.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you guys have one of these sort of course map sort of things for aerospace?
Yes, it's on I sent out an email with it was a long email with a lot of information. It should have a link to the degree plan. If you haven't received that email from me, then just shoot me an email and I can forward it to you. But we have a list of degree plans, of every degree plan on our department website.
And since I have you now, Cecily, I'll piggyback off of that. I assume that for the aerospace, we do also need to take this applied mathematics?
No, you don't.
No, we don't. Okay.
So aerospace doesn't require the applied mathematics course. like I said, if you have any questions about that one, just go ahead and send me an email. We don't have a large aerospace population, and the aerospace courses you'll find are actually, a lot of them are mechanical engineering courses, or you'll see like electrical or industrial, because it's an interdisciplinary program that kind of pulls from all of the departments, but mostly mechanical. But when you email me, I can send you a copy of the degree plan, and I can also put you in communication with Dr. Gregoriadis. He's usually pretty responsive. He responds to emails usually within about 24 to 48 hours, but he'll help you pick classes. And also, if you would like to substitute any courses, or if there's anything on that on the course listing that confuses you or you have any questions about, then you would go to Dr. Gregoriadis. But that's for aerospace students only. Everyone else goes to Dr. Litt.
Well, so for those who are for those who are in the subsea engineering program, you need to wait for the other orientation. Right? So you will
I don't think there are any subsea students here. We have a subsea orientation in 15 minutes.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Does space architecture have an orientation?
So space architecture is a part of this orientation as well, and we have Raul, who's on this call, and then there is Vitrio, who I believe is also on the call, and Dr. Olga Bonova. They are space architecture. They're the TAs for space architecture, and then the program director. So after everyone else leaves, you can hang around and continue to ask questions in particular to the space architecture program.
Hi, Cecily. I have a question for you. It's in regard of the Masters of Science with thesis on the aerospace engineering. You said you're gonna put like the same type of screen with the description and category we should go for
the aerospace program.
Yes.
If you send me an email afterward, I mean, I guess I can put it in the text box. I can text the links. Is that what you're wanting, the links for the aerospace website?
Yeah, like I want to select the courses I'm gonna enroll for a thesis program on aerospace engineering.
So before you can enroll in a thesis, you'll need to meet with an advisor, a faculty advisor, or a professor who shares research interests that you're interested in, and you'll have to submit a petition basically saying that you're going to perform research under the supervision of this professor. So usually students wait, after their first semester, or maybe even in the beginning of their first semester, to get acclimated with the professors and in the University of Houston and the department before doing that. But if you have something in mind, just go ahead and send me an email and we can start that process. But in the meantime, I am going to put in the chat some links to the aerospace program.
All right, I will do that. Appreciate it, Cecily.
Yeah. So in general, if you want to switch to a thesis-based master, you need to, it will take some time for you to find a proper faculty advisor, and the professor need to find a meaningful research problem for you to work on. Right?
Obviously, so like this is such like a weird time, and we don't really have an opportunity to like everybody gets to meet each other kind of thing. Is there like a way to find out like who else is in the aerospace program? So, like, since we're such a small program, or like should we make like an email chain or like a group me? I'm not sure.
So I am going to be I'm so busy these days, guys, but I am planning to have a virtual social this semester. So usually we have in-person socials where we'll do something fun, like, get a photo booth or get some ice cream or, whatever. But obviously we can't do it that way this semester. Yeah. So that's one way that you can get to know some of your classmates. But also I would suggest, like just old school, getting to know people in the classes, in your like Zoom boxes, texting and things like that, as well as on your Blackboard. It should facilitate options and ways for you to speak to one another.
Okay, sweet. Yay.
And I cannot find the chat box. I don't know why.
Maybe because I'm sharing the screen. Let me
Oh,
stop
okay.
that.
I never saw it the whole time, so it might be disabled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I cannot see it either.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but if you guys who are interested in aerospace, just shoot me an email and I will forward you more information about the aerospace program and more specific information, like more tailored to you about aerospace, and then also Dr. Gregoriadis's contact information.
All right, guys, any more questions? I think Cecily has to go for another orientation in 10 minutes.
Yes, but I would like to leave this one open for the space architecture students, or maybe even people who may have interest in, you know, starting the dual program, or maybe even switching over to space architecture later if you're interested. So I guess we'll say bye to Dr. Liu.
Okay, you know, we are here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact us. Okay, right? Thank you guys, and wish you the best for your graduate study, right?
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, Cecily.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So Dr. Benova is